Q Talks here, and I am back with a video from me to you. So, I was actually about to film another video, which I'm still gonna film. So, do check that out as well. It is going to be called Why They Say Life is Short or something along those lines. However, clear my throat. Still quite early in the morning here. However, I actually decided that there is another video that it is imperative that I film. So I'm going to do that right now. And the reason why I actually remembered that was because I was like, oh, I want to do my eyebrows before I film this video. This video is going to be about how PPD changed my life. So I'm going to do my eyebrows now while I talk to you. But this is a video about how I went and got an eyebrow treatment. And some people may know already what I'm going to say because I mentioned the word PPD. But yeah, I went and got an eyebrow treatment, just a normal thread and tint. And that happened earlier this year, I would say about May, end of April, somewhere along that time period. And yeah, not good. If you know me in real life, you know what I'm talking about and you know what I'm about to say. Because when I say the aftermath of that experience was something that changed my life, and that's why I want to talk about it, because it wasn't easy and it took me quite some time to recover from the severe allergic reaction that I suffered from that chemical. And I wanted to start the video with my bare eyebrows so you could see how they look and see that they look pretty good currently. This is my eyebrows with nothing on them. But if you take a close look, let me see if I can get in closer here. You might notice that it's like the skin underneath, it's kind of shaded in, which is good. Makes it a lot quicker for me to do what I need to do. But this actually happened as a result of what happened. I will say, and I have said that I am, so thankful for the fact that after all of this, I have been gifted and blessed enough to actually have nice eyebrows, arguably even like fuller than what they were before. But it was a long road, guys. It took me about 8 to 9 weeks to recover from this allergic reaction, and it all started because I got into my own head about my appearance and convinced myself that I needed to do more with my appearance or about my appearance, just beauty wise, not for. Obviously, I feel like this was influenced by society and in terms of me comparing myself to other people. However, I would say that the ultimate decision was that I wanted to do this for myself. So I went to do that, and I remember vividly that day. It was like I was getting signs from the universe to be like, hold on, girl. You sure you want to go? You sure you want to go do this? There was something like really, like a festival happening, like some kind of, if you know what City Splash is, then you'll know what I'm talking about. That was happening in the area that I was going to get this treatment. And it meant that there was a lot of traffic that day because there were a lot of like um, festival goers, if that's what you want to call it. So that wasn't great. By the way, this is just how I do my eyebrows, guys. So I don't want anybody to even be like, why is she doing it like that or whatever. Because this is just how I very basically pencil in my eyebrows on a day-to-day basis. But anyways, back to what I was saying was that day there was a lot of traffic. A lot of traffic, a lot of people, which is something that I would usually maybe avoid. But I was adamant. When I say I was determined and convinced that, you know, when you wake up with a mission in mind, that was my mission for that day. I was like, I am going to go do this. I wanted to even do my lashes as well because that was another thing that I didn't feel like I get done or whatever. So I was like, you know, this is what I want to do today, and I'm gonna feel so good and look so nice after. So on the bus on the way there, um, one of the people that was actually on their way to this festival, I believe, that was like a drunk, tipsy guy. He was nice, but he was like with lots of people, like his friends and people at the top of the bus. And I remember as they were all coming down the stairs one by one, I was standing downstairs on the bus because this is how packed the bus was that day. Like there were so many people upstairs and then like people downstairs. So it was just very noisy, you know. So everybody was coming down the stairs, and then as this guy came down the stairs, he looked at me and he was like, "Oh, you're so beautiful." Like the way he said it was funny because it was like he was kind of tipsy, and he said it really loud in front of everybody on the bus. So I was like, "Oh, thank you," but in my head, I was like, "I hear you, but I need to go get this treatment. I need to go get this treatment." So not sure what you're talking about. Um, you know, and that I think goes hand in hand with having like an interesting perception of yourself. Not to say that I don't see what I look like, but I would say I don't always consider what I look like. I don't spend a lot of time considering it. So I was still on my way to this place. It took me a long time to get there because of the traffic, like maybe almost double the time that it would have usually took to get to that area. So when I got there, another like little sign was that the lady that I was expecting to see was not there. Now, many girls would have been like, girl, but anyways, we digress. I was adamant. So this was a different person there, and I asked if she did, you know, lashes and eyebrows, and she was like, you know, she does eyebrows or whatever the people in the shop, because it was like a hair shop with the lady in the corner. So they were like, you know, she, excuse me, does eyebrows but not lashes. So I said, okay, it's gonna have to do because, you know, I'm here now. And I sat down for her to do my eyebrows. I didn't get a patch test. She didn't offer me one, and I forgot or did not consider to request one. She did my eyebrows. I went home. I was feeling nice. I had like a little afro. I was wearing a pink dress. It was a great day. I think it was Friday. Or Thursday. And then when I got home a little bit later, I think I met up with my friend actually, and we had some food. And then after that, I was chilling back at home. This was when my eyebrows started to tingle. And when my eyebrows started to tingle, I was like, I know what is happening. This is because I have suffered an allergic reaction in a similar way before. Don't judge me. However, that was a long time ago. It wasn't as severe, and because of things that you may come to understand or that I'll go into in other ways, because of the stress that I was going through this year in particular, and maybe had been going through even before that, I wasn't thinking, nor could I have even recalled that maybe 3 years ago I had had a similar experience, but in a mild way. So if I had recalled that, obviously I would have requested a patch test, or I would have even thought twice about, what I was about to do. So anyway, when I started getting the tingling on my eyebrows, I realized what was going on. The tingling was, progressively increasing, and I said, I need to wipe this off, as much of the dye as possible, the tint, so that I can hopefully reduce the level of this allergic reaction. So that is what I did. I removed it until, it was wiping clean, and there wasn't, as much as I could do. That made no difference to what my body was about to go through. From that day onward, I was continuously reacting to this substance for about 7 weeks, 6 weeks straight. And it took such a toll on my immune system, my physical health, my mental health, my neurology, because in a lot of ways, because it was here, which is connected to here in your brain, and because my body was obviously allergic to this, it just was it was like a knock-on effect, and it was like something that had been lit and I could not put it out, and it was extremely terrifying. It was the most terrifying thing that I had been through up until this point in my life, and it was the most stress that I had ever felt in my physical body ever. And I have been through other traumatic experiences in the past. I've been through stress, but this and the way my body was dealing with it, the way my mind was dealing with it, was beyond anything that I had ever dealt with before. So it took an extreme impact on me, like I said, because not only did it have the opposite effect of what I had intended, which was to go and get a treatment to, be more aesthetically pleasing. Instead, I woke up the next day with a swollen, all here of my face was swollen. I may put some pictures, or I may make another video if you guys really want to see with what happened. But, that's if it's really necessary. But, yeah, my eyes, because I have quite hooded eyes, as you can see, were puffed. My eyebrows were raised, scabbed, covered in pus. My face was covered in pus when I woke up. And from that day onward, not to be TMI, but this is the reality of what happened to me, my eyebrows continued to leak pus for 4 weeks, 5 weeks straight, day and night. So all throughout the night, my face was leaking, because the effect that the chemical had on me, despite me wiping it off, it was like it was a chemical burn in my skin, like a 3rd-degree chemical burn, maybe even 4th degree, because I had to go to A&E the next day, and I went to A&E numerous times after that because of how out of sorts I was, because of how out of whack my nervous system was, because I was having so let me backtrack what actually happened. So I woke up, my face looked like that. Terrible. I was in, it was just like a intense pressure. That was the best way I can describe it. And the pressure lasted for weeks. So I had just had this pressure sensation in my head. Like my head felt light. I couldn't like do anything like get up fast, move fast, or anything like that. Um, I couldn't sleep. Like I could not sleep because of the pressure in my head that I was feeling, and like the sensation as well of the, you know, wetness on my face. So that combined was keeping me up, as well as the stress, fear, and other things that I was also dealing with. So it was just extremely intense because my body was trying to recover from this while at the same time still reacting to it. So because I wasn't even able to sleep, it's like I wasn't recovering as quickly as I felt like I could have or should have been. And it took so long for me to feel better. Like it changed my eating, my sleeping. Like I said, I went to A&E because I was having like visual disturbances, and like I was told in A&E that I was now getting brain aura migraines, which I didn't know that you could get migraines that didn't hurt, because it was not like my head was hurting. It's like when you have a headache, but it wasn't a headache, it's pressure. You know, when you feel pressure in your head, that's what I was feeling. And then I was also um, having like um, numbness, like parts of my side of my face, my hand was feeling numb, like parts of my body. So they were telling me this was as a result of the brain aura migraine, because after this happened to me, I couldn't even spend extended periods of time walking. I couldn't even stand for long periods of time in like the first 2 to 3 weeks. It was terrifying. Like, even now when I talk about it, obviously I'm smiling and I'm so grateful for how far I've come. But when I tell you guys, it changed my life. It changed my life because of how afraid I was that I was not going to recover, or that the damage was permanent. Because, like I said, I'd never experienced so many things happening to my body at once. And yeah, I had to go to A&E like numerous times, because there was times, and when I spent like 3 4 days straight, I did not sleep. Um, I also had like a change in my personality, even, which I could notably tell. It was like in the beginning, my inhibitions were a bit different. The way I was reacting to things were a bit different. I was talking different, like almost louder, and but then I was also like more subdued, which I think was like from the trauma and the shock of what happened. So it was like I was more internally withdrawn at the same time. When I was trying to talk to people and people were talking to me, it was taking me more time to process information and to respond. Like I could not connect my brain to my mouth quickly to like respond to someone, or I was stumbling over my words. I was um like stuttering a lot and struggling, and I had to go, you know, to the hospital and go through numerous things to try and figure out what was happened. I was even referred to a toxicology department, which I did not know was a thing in the UK. Um, but I say all of that to say, like, it was extreme. And I remember having such anxiety it also triggered depression. It also triggered slight psychosis feelings in me because I was like thinking, am I gonna die? Like, because I'm not like okay. And the main thing I remember saying and feeling for weeks was like, I'm not myself. I don't feel myself. I don't know when I'm gonna feel myself because this is not me, like what's happening to me. And I had to start taking supplements and vitamins. Like it made me take my health and everything very seriously because it was like it reset my health. So it was like I was a lot weaker. I'm used to being, strong. I don't get sick a lot and I do a lot of things on my own. I'm very much my own person. So being so weak to a level where I didn't even want to eat. I couldn't even like process. It took away my appetite. Like my appetite was gone, and I had to like my mum, who herself was going through stuff, had to like talk to me and tell me to like eat and things like that because it was like I was not there. So it was really a hard time, like I said, not knowing what's happening to your body, all because of one thing, not knowing when you're going to feel like yourself again. I even couldn't get on buses and in vehicles because I developed like a motion sickness where I would get like an extreme pressure from, I guess, you know, the movement, G-force or whatever of the car moving forward or the vehicle moving forward, but also when I would like, it's like I would get weak from being in a car or a bus, which is really weird. Like I would get off a bus and it would be like I couldn't walk. So it scared me a lot, like to even go outside and stuff because I just felt so vulnerable as a result of what I was going through. And yeah, I just wanted to share this because of how it impacted me and how it allowed me to also gain a newfound respect for my body, for myself, for my appearance, and not putting myself through unnecessary things, but also really realizing how strong and resilient I am truly as a person to have recovered from that. Because I was told by a doctor that I basically gained PTSD from that experience, which, in other ways I may have experienced PTSD or similar things before, but that itself gave me PTSD because of how it impacted my body and how long it took my body to recover. It took my eyebrows like 7-8 weeks to scab over everything. Like they were raised, red, sore wounds on my face for weeks from just one exposure to PPD. So if you haven't realized already, if you're thinking about doing any beauty treatments, make sure you get a patch test, okay? If you're not sure about PPD or if you might be allergic to PPD, do your research on it because the allergies are severe and PPD is mainly found in dyes. So it's probably in other cosmetic products slightly, but it's in dyes, especially hair dyes, certain hennas, I believe, things like that. It's in things that dye and color. And if you are exposed to it and you are allergic, because there is a percentage of people in the world that are allergic to it, I think it's like 1.3. Correct me if I'm wrong. You are not gonna have a good time. You don't want to go through it. And I think in general, there's a lot of things that we kind of sometimes put ourselves at risk to, and we're actually not considering what could happen afterwards. for me, I've learned that. I consider that now. And like I said, I just appreciate myself because it took a lot for me to recover from that. People in my life know that and will attest to that. It was not easy. I was very afraid, very upset for weeks. And um, I still had to carry on with my life, with my responsibilities. And I still had to show up for myself. And I still pushed through and I still did things like hosting an event, networking and, just getting on with things and caring for my mum at the time. So it was a very life-changing moment. And we as people need to know how strong we are because I know how strong I am. I know I don't doubt myself after that because when you go through things like that, where everything is thrown into doubt, everything is thrown into doubt, you start to, it's like the cliches, but you really do start to realize and appreciate what you had before that. And if you're lucky enough to get that back or to get some sense of normalcy back, you don't want to play with it. You don't want to waste it. You don't want to not see it for what it is or depreciate it. You want to utilize it as much as you can and get as much value out of it as you can. And that is where I am. Like I've always been like that, quite efficient, but now I'm like, I'm not trying to play games with my life, with myself, because things can change in a blink, as they say, and you have to really go through it to see it for what it is. And like I said, being lucky enough to come out of something like that, I will always encourage anyone to not, underestimate themselves. I don't underestimate myself because that was intense. And I'm still sitting here and I'm still myself and I'm not completely broken from it despite feeling at one point that I was. So yeah, guys, that's what I wanted to share. I could maybe make another video and go into like more detail, like I said, and maybe show some pictures. But I'm so happy to have shared this story, and I hope that anybody that comes across it can gain something from it, or at least like relate, or just even clap for me for for making it through. So yeah, take care, such love, and see you in the next video.